Hi, I'm Stuart. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Thanks for viewing my video. In this video I give my reading wrap up for the week ending 2/7/2026. I read one short story this week, so I'll talk briefly about that short story. I read part of a book, so I'll talk briefly about that book. I'll talk about my reading plans for the upcoming week. I'll talk about the videos I released. I'll talk about the crocheting project I'm working on. I'll talk about the music I listen to. And I'll talk about some other things going on in my life too. The short story I read was Ligeia by Edgar Allen Poe. This is the January read for the Literary Love Club, a book club created and moderated by Jen at Literary Love 123. Can't really say too much about it as it is a short story, but basically the unnamed narrator talks about his wife Ligeia in high praise, how intelligent she is, how beautiful she is, and I really don't want to say too much more because it is a short story, but I did enjoy it. It's really kind of hard with short stories to say much because they are in fact short. The book I started and read some of is The Vampire Armand by Anne Rice. At the beginning of this book, Armand is at the mission that Lestat took over. It was formerly Dora's mission, but she left the mission to him. I'm not sure why, but he is just lying and being unresponsive, and Armand is there to visit him. Armand meets up with David Talbot. Armand meets up with David Talbot, David Talbot also comes to this mission and talks to Armand. He tries to convince Armand to tell him, he tries to convince Armand to tell him his life story. Armand is initially resistant, but he does agree to do so. Armand starts when he was living in the Russia near Kiev. It was at a time when Russia was, at least this area of Russia, was under control, had been conquered by the Turks. Armand is kidnapped by some raiders and taken to be sold into slavery. Merrick purchases Armand and takes him to this, we call it a mansion now, I guess, a pretty impressive house. There's a bunch of boys there and they paint, and Merrick paints. Merrick is a centuries-old vampire. He takes Armand under his wing, teaches a lot of stuff. He does, however, start a physical relationship with Armand. When Armand, although the exact age is not given, is probably about 15 years old. Even though this is a different time, I don't know the exact time, but I'm guessing maybe about 500 years. I'm guessing maybe about 500 years ago. There is still a bit of an ick factor in that with me, and compounded by the fact that this book of the previous Vampire Chronicles book, this book is the most graphic in its descriptions of scenes. To call it spice almost understates the descriptions, but that's the word I'll have to use. So it does have the ick factor, I guess maybe because it's so long ago and I know really what happens to Armand later, that maybe it doesn't bother me as much as it would bother me in a story set in current times, but it still, as I said, does have a bit of an ick factor there. It's just the centuries-old vampire and this 15-year-old, I say around 15, he has to be around that age. The book is slow-moving, but not necessarily in a bad way. I don't find it boring. It's just there's a lot of descriptive text, a lot of dialogue. I'm a little over halfway through. This is one of the 2 December-January reads for the Vampire Chronicles group, a group created and moderated by Lane at Cobalt Dragon. The next book is Merrick. As far as my plans are to complete The Vampire Armand and start Merrick by Anne Rice, which is the 7th book in the Vampire Chronicles series. And I want to start Game Changer by Reid. I had hoped to start it. I ordered it from bookshop.org. It did not arrive yet. Possibly because there's been a lot of storminess lately. But I hope to get it this week and start it this week. Possibly I'm going to start the poet Empress by Shen this week. More likely it's the week after next. It is a book club pick. I'm not going to say which one because I haven't been doing very good for reading the fable books. I want to try to get back into that without pushing myself too hard. A lot of people are reading this book and recommended this book. Next, I want to talk about the videos I released. I released 3 videos this week. They were reading wrap-up for the week ending 1/31/2026, New Year Book Tag 2026, and my review of Authority by Jeff Vandermeer. That's about what I want to do in a week, release 3 videos, so I'm happy with that. Been spending a lot of time home lately. I mentioned in my last video about what was going on with my car. I will talk about that a little later in this video. I'll just say here I do not have it back yet. So I've been spending a lot of time at home. And one thing I've been doing a lot is crocheting. Crocheting the puff stitch scarf. And it's kind of hard to see on here because I can't really show the whole thing. But it's about, I think, 4 feet long now. The pattern calls for it to be 6 feet, so I have 2 more feet to go. I did start using my second ball of yarn a few rows ago. I just tied a knot in it, not the most elegant way of doing it. One advantage of this type with these stitches is kind of hard to see that, and couldn't really figure out another way to do it. I do know how to attach new yarn in woobles and things like that, but with a puff stitch I'm really not sure. So this is kind of something that is kind of relaxing to me. Not an easy stitch, and still sometimes I have to redo them when I pull an extra loop through. But it's kind of relaxing to me because I can just kind of go with it. This is something I can, say, watch something on TV or something like that, and at least sort of, or YouTube videos, at least sort of concentrate and still do something like this. As far as the video games I'm playing, I continue to play Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time. I did reach hero level on one of my lives. That's the highest level. I'm not focusing on that as much, but some of the activities just lend themselves to getting you pretty close to that and just make it easy to reach it. Although, as I said, I've only done the one. I continue to play Sudoku. I am now on level 4. I did successfully complete a level 4 puzzle. Approximately 24% of the people who play the game reach that level. Did, however, try another one, and I reached a point where I just couldn't figure the next step, so I restarted and at another level 4 puzzle, and I'm still working on that one. Want to give my best effort, but I also don't want to beat my head against the wall. As far as the music I listen to, I really haven't listened to much. I mostly listen to music when I'm out walking or when I'm in my car. But I did decide that I gotta, even if I'm not going out, I have to figure out a way to exercise. So I was doing some short walking laps in the cellar on the 7th, and I did listen to a mix entitled called My Mix 1, and I listened to songs by Lola Young, Chappell Roan, Tate McRae, Madison Beer, Cat's Eye, Sabrina Carpenter, Gracie Adams, Raven Lene, and Addison Rae, and Jade Lamack. So that's all really my music listening has been. As to what I've been doing, as always, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, mostly booktubers, but I do watch occasional other videos. There's this channel I've been watching some videos on, I called Nostalgic Look Back. It talks about growing up in the 70s and shows photos. As I grew up in the 70s, I was a teen then, it's very nostalgic for me. I'm sure the guy's looking at it kind of through rose-colored glasses, but still, there's something to be said for back then. There wasn't, as he points out, we didn't have phones, and sometimes I think back at those times and I think, geez, how do we even spend our time? How do we even fill our time? But it was different then. You didn't feel like the need you have to fill every moment. So nostalgic look back for me. And of course, if you watch one video like that, YouTube suggests other videos, and it's easy for me to go down the rabbit hole. Kind of want to concentrate on booktube videos because every other video I watch means a booktuber video I can't watch, but I find it hard to resist sometimes these type of videos lately. I started on last Thursday watching the Olympics, various sports, some curling, some figure skating, some women's hockey, some men's slopestyle skiing, men's big air skiing, a variety of things. Without going crazy, I try to watch as much of the Olympics as I can when they come on, because it's another 4 years before it's 2 years before the summer ones, another 4 years before the winter ones come on. So try to watch as much of it as I can, because it's only every 4 years for each of the winter ones and the summer ones. I forgot to mention that I created an account on NetGalley. I wanted to see if I could borrow some ARCs to review. I've seen many people who are able to read ARCs, and the idea is intriguing to me. I haven't actually borrowed any books yet, I haven't actually requested any books yet. See if if they let me borrow them to read. But it's just something I've been interested in for a bit of time, and I decided to create the account. I don't want to, if I do get approved to borrow something, I want to make sure that I do read it in the required time frame. So I want to, unlike the way I buy books and I got 20 zillion of them, I want to be smart about it. But that is going to be something I'm going to be trying going forward, borrowing my first books and reading them and see how it goes. Next, I wanted to talk about the situation with my car. As I did in the previous video, I will put content warnings because there's a little bit of mental health discussion involved with it. I hadn't heard anything from the dealership, so last Wednesday I sent a text as reply to the text message they sent me to say that I could ask questions. No one responded, so I did call later that day. Can't remember if I had to leave a message, the mechanic called back, or I talked to him right away, but he did. I was able to talk to him. He said that there were rodent droppings in the engine, and they appear to have caused damage to the wiring. Just the troubleshooting that would be required was $700 something, so I should contact my insurance company. So I did. I filed a claim to an AI voice, which doesn't make me very comfortable, but there seemed no way to talk to a person. Said they could contact me via email and text. There was an email that said I need to upload some photos of the damage, as I did not have the car. I contacted the dealership again and left a message, because the mechanic wasn't available then, to ask for him to send photos. Next morning I got another message from the insurance company requesting the photos. I replied that I submitted a request to the dealership, but I couldn't access the car myself, so I was dependent upon them. I would send them to the insurance company as soon as I got them, or if there's some problem, I'd contact them. A little later, a very nice claims adjuster called me. She said she was going to send an appraiser to the dealership because it would be best to directly contact the mechanic in this instance. She said the name of the appraiser. Shortly thereafter, got an email from the appraiser, said that he was going to make an appointment to go to the dealership. And Thursday afternoon, I got a text from the mechanic saying that although there was rodent droppings, there did not appear to be any damage created by the rodents. His team leader said it appeared the vehicle was jump-started backwards, causing the fusible link to blow. The estimated cost to fix the problem was $890. If I agreed, they could get started. So I agreed. He said he would do his best to get done on Friday. I have to accept their explanation, but I will say that the person who tried to jumpstart it initially was a AAA driver who that's part of his job, so I find it a little difficult to believe that he somehow reversed the polarity, but it is what it is if that's what they say. No one else did it, so I'll just have to accept that. As far as repairs go, these days it's not too bad an amount. He did not get back to me on Friday nor Saturday. I didn't totally mind that because it got really cold and I wasn't going to go out Saturday anyways. There was a little snow. And I would rather have them get it right than me driving. I do have some questions. I was wrong when I said it was like sitting in the garage in the cold for 4 days. It was actually 5, but I still maintain that I don't think a new car should have a battery die that quickly, no matter how cold. We're not talking Arctic cold here, so we're talking, around 0 F. So cold, but I do have some questions, like how often do I have to make sure I drive it when it's really cold? I'm not going to go out and rack it up when the roads are bad. That'd be dumb, but I'm going to ask what I should do to try to prevent this from occurring in the future. Possibly the car is a combination hybrid electric. Possibly when it's really cold I should specifically run it in the hybrid mode, because normally I run in the auto mode, which defers to the electrical mode because I generally don't drive far, so it mostly drives on the electrical engine. But it's not back yet, but I'm actually feeling better about the situation. I'm not real happy about it, but more relaxed. Things happen, and you just got to go forward. Fortunately, I'm able to occupy myself at home. If I don't hear something early next week from them, though, I'm going to defer to them now. It's kind of, to my mind, the biggest issue I have with this whole situation is their lack of communication, so I'm going to let them communicate. But if I don't hear something from them early tomorrow, I might get an Uber and just go out. Not a major thing, but I got some library books that are late, and I just don't. It grates on me that I've failed to return them on time. I'm not sure if my library charges are fine or not, but that's not the main point. So anyway, that's the situation with the car. If you listen to this far, thanks. I appreciate it. I would be interested in knowing how your reading week went, what you're reading, whether you enjoy the books, might recommend them, music you're listening to. If you can't think of anything you'd like to comment, please add an emoji. I'm going to suggest a snow emoji because we had a little snow on the 7th and it's been really cold. Any other winter emoji you found might be good too, or an emoji of your choice. If you enjoy this video, please give it a like, please subscribe, please hit the bell to get notified when I upload future videos.